listening to the Leftover Pizza Podcast. Welcome to Friday Night Frights.
Whoop, whoop. What other sound effects would you like? Anything more? No, that's
all of
it.
them. You got more?
Well, I have got to go big for this episode. Not only because it's Friday Night Frights, where every Friday this October we are dropping a new episode for you lovely people, but also because this is a pretty big episode for us, isn't it, Grimy?
Absolutely, a very special anniversary episode. This is, believe it or not, our 50th episode. That's insane to think about.
50 full, I guess you could call them mainline episodes. I'm sure we've blown past that number, what with previous Patreon bonus shows and, guest appearances, if you want to count those. And even we used to do some special little live videos on YouTube that got transferred over into minisodes here at the beginning of the show's tenure. So if you take all that into account, we're well past that number. But when it comes down to our real big boy, big time episodes, that's it. It's 50.
Number 50.
That's incredible because especially when you consider up until recently, we had only been doing really one episode a month. Man, that took a little while to get to that number, huh?
It did, yeah. We paced ourselves ever so pacingly. Yeah, we did. We certainly did. We did pace ourselves quite a bit. And tonight we are diving into 8 different slices of pizza.
I mean, it makes sense. People have been asking us on the Facebook group for a while and over social media in general, you're a pizza show, right? No. We're not a pizza show. Pizza's just in the title. But people really want us to commit to at least one show centering around pizza in the way that we know best. And that is za and pie across pop culture.
Absolutely. So, 8 beautiful, gelatinous, and oily, greasy slices of pizza. One show. Hope you're in for it, because it is going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. And I do just want to take a moment and shout out Grimy here, because without Grimy's persistence and hard work and dedication, Leftover Pizza would not exist in any form, because this is his little baby, his brain baby that he's nurtured with his own pepperoni nipple. He just, little Leftover Pizza baby suckling at his pizza teat.
Just one pizza nipple. No, I don't have 2, just one. Yeah, the other one's more like a milk dud. I'd just like to stop you right there and say that this can't be just because of me, because there's 2 people here, and certainly no one's going to sit here and listen to just me all day. So, I'd like to just congratulate us both here real quick. And thank you also for being here. This has been a pretty fun ride so far. It still feels like we're just getting started. There's much more to come. I think you're going to see that during this Halloween season. And why not celebrate with some pizza?
Yeah, that sounds right. Thank you, and thank you.
And thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you.
And
thank
you're
you.
welcome.
And that's...
Merry Christmas.
But
kiss his ass, kiss my ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. That's right. No, that's not until November 10th and beyond, okay? You got a little while before we get to that.
Now it's time for the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! I'm done trick-or-treating, and now I'm gonna go for a stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut. Yay!
Not yet, Pizza Head. There's one more place to go.
I don't think anyone's home.
Sure there is.
Hello, trick-or-treat! Interesting hieroglyphics on this pizza. Ah!
Quick, Pizza Head, let's go upstairs.
Hey, who is here anyway?
It's your host, Count Steve.
Oh, nice place. You got it. Ah! I want to go to Pizza Hut now!
The Count will be happy to give you a lift.
Oh, hey, put me down! Put me down!
See you next time.
All right, so my first slice of the night comes from a Pizza Hut commercial known as the Pizza Head Show, which we all know is a piece of pizza who has little toppings for a face, and he's sort of the same vibe as Mr. Bill, if everyone knows who that is, who started in the 70s for SNL.
Yeah, honestly, when I was a kid growing up, I would see these commercials pop on because it was a running series of commercials, as you know, the Pizza Head Show. It wasn't just a one-off or a couple. It went on for quite a long time. I had the hardest time distinguishing this character from Mr. Bill, I just assumed that they were like one and the same, that they were from the same universe, that they existed together in harmony, that, Pizza Head lived 2 doors down from Mr. Bill. And it was really hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact that they were not related in any way. It was just sort of an homage, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of an homage, but funnily enough, both characters are created by the same person, Walter Williams, who created the claymation character Mr. Bill in the 70s. So he and San Francisco's Goodby Silverstein and Partners, that studio, they both worked hand in hand on the Pizza Head show. So if you're seeing a lot of Mr. Bill isms in the Pizza Head show, which you absolutely will, that would be why.
Okay, all right. So see, I just learned something tonight. See, I always thought that it was sort of a knockoff / homage. I didn't realize that it came from the same creator. So what you're telling me is that what my kid brain was trying to tell me, that all the adults were telling me no, it was actually true. They could have been neighbors. They might have been living 2 doors down from each other, Mr. Bill and Pizza Head.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, cousins, if nothing else. Come on. They have the same exact voice.
I mean, that's true. That's why I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, so you're telling me these are different characters and they have nothing to do with each other.
Oh, man,
And that's
yeah.
what all the adults told me.
Just barely different characters.
That just goes to show you, don't trust adults, everybody listening at home. We're always wrong.
That's right. So the commercials, they start, like I said, a slice of pizza named Pizza Head, who had a face made from various toppings. Then there was Pizza Head's pizza cutter nemesis named Steve. And then finally, there's a hand who was sort of the host of the commercial. He would, in some spots, be driving, or he'd be kind of hanging out with Pizza Head, or he would be chaperoning Pizza Head in some way, shape, or form, whether it was driving or carrying him on his journey.
I think you're kind of doing a disservice by saying he was chaperoning Pizza Head or he was hanging out with Pizza Head. Let's call it for what it was. He was Pizza Head's god.
It was his
Okay.
god. Oh, Jesus. I didn't think you were going there. But...
He was Pizza Head's almighty creator, and poor Pizza Head was always being subjected to the wrath of his god, the all-knowing hand, who was throwing him into precarious situations left and right. Both being physically harmed or just placed in the way of danger. This hand had it out for this slice of pizza. He was not looking after him in any sort of admirable, good-willed way. This hand was trying to actively kill Mr. Pizza Head himself.
Oh, yeah. Think of like the worst situations you could possibly be put in. And this is everything that the hand did to pizza. Unbearable at times. Like, I'm not really sure what kind of god is this man?
He's the average god, I'd say. That's about all gods, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see it. So, yes, Pizza Head would become nervous at the sight of Steve, and the hand would always reassure him, no, like, this guy's a friend. And Pizza would just be like, no, that's not a friend. He'd be like, well, sure he is. That's his famous line was, sure he is. But as you said, it never really ends well for Pizza Head. They did a bunch of commercials using this exact setup. It's always the same, but since it's Halloween, I wanted to highlight 2 different commercials from 1994 and also 1997.
We should once again warn everybody listening that while we are pumping out quite a few Halloween-related episodes this Halloween season, this one kind of sticks out from the pack. But these 2 commercials that you're about to get into, they're doing all the heavy lifting in terms of the Halloween atmosphere here.
So the first commercial, it's just the Trick or Treat Halloween commercial. I'm not sure that there's an official title for it. Same kind of trope. Pizza Head, he's trick-or-treating, he's a pirate, and he goes to this mansion, and it turns out that Count Steve, who is, Steve, the pizza slicer, he's up there, and he turns into a bat, scoops Pizza Head up, and they fly off screen, and randomly a jack-o'-lantern comes and smashes this beautiful Pizza Hut kind of model that they have set up. The setting is always really, really beautiful. Like, you could tell that they took their time on these scenes. It almost feels like if you've ever looked at an I Spy book, it's a lot like that.
Thank you. Oh my God. I've been waiting to talk about these specifically because I was hoping that you would also think that they had that I Spy aesthetic to them.
Yeah, totally, man.
And they totally do. Yeah. From the inside of the mansion that Pizza Head gets brought to all the small, tiny little dioramas, every little detail in this commercial and subsequently the one that we're going to get into right after this, they definitely have that I Spy book feel about them. Little tiny cars, the little tiny miniature stairwell that is inside the mansion, just everything. And I think it's also the way that everything is lit too, don't you?
Oh yeah, they always do these up so well. Impeccable detail. It's hard to believe that they could get an ominous kind of vibe with some of these, but they really did capture that pretty well. But anyway, the second commercial I'd like to touch on really quickly here is from 1997, and that is the Goosebumps tie-in. Again, very similar trope. He's in a car with the host, the hand, and they go up to this graveyard of all places where there's like a tombed Pizza Hut just in the middle of this random cemetery. All these pizza cutters come up and they're all in the style of Goosebump characters. So there's like the Camp Nightmare guy, there's the Horrorland guys there, I think Slappy's there. I mean, there's just a bunch of different characters all dressed. Curly's there.
Curly's
they're all
front and
dressed
center
up.
too, yep.
It's so good, like very effective. But he says something to the effect of not waking the neighbors, and they're all just rising up from like graves and stuff. Again, just very effective use of everything that they have here. All the props look really, really nice. It really feels like these people are just like playing with their own toys on TV. And I think that is most of all what like really caught my eye about these commercials. They just felt like these people were just having fun.
What I really appreciate here out of both of them, I can't pick a favorite because they're both,
It's like
I
your
think,
children.
equally. Yeah, exactly. They're both equally iconic and lovely to watch. What I'm going to say is I'm actually going to draw a comparison, shocker, to the Burger King Simpsons commercials. How we always praised them because even though they were a year apart, you could tell that there was some consideration taken in at the beginning where they actually drew continuity between both years' commercials. And this one is even more impressive to me because the first, I believe, is like 94 or 95. And then this Goosebumps one, as far as we can tell, is from 1997. And both of these could play back to back. The vibe is the same. The aesthetics are the same. Like, this really could just be another scene in the same Halloween special if Pizza Head ever got his own Halloween special. So I really have to commend the team who worked on all these Pizza Head commercials because there's just a through line here that while it's not telling the same story, commercial to commercial, it might as well have been.
Hey there, I hear it's your birthday. How old are you?
Well, I'm...
That's great. Would you like us to sing you a special song?
Hell no.
You got it. Ready, Senor Beaverati?
I'm ready, and the one, and the two.
You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday boy or girl.
Okay, Grimy, my first slice in our pizza show, and I promise I'll keep it quick because we've got a lot of pizza slices to get through this evening, is going to be from none other than your favorite animatronic-fronted pizza arcade palace. I presume you know what I'm talking about and where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah, Chuck E. Cheese, right?
You stupid bitch.
You dumb motherfucker.
You dumbass.
What did I do?
Chuck
What
E.
happened?
Cheese, what a loser. No, he pales in comparison to my favorite parody of Chuck E. Cheese, Wally Weasels from The Simpsons. A place that we get to spend a little bit of time at during Bart's 10th birthday celebration. This takes place in season 3, episode 13. And this whole scene in this fake restaurant just lives in my head, as the kids say, rent free. Always and forever. I just absolutely love this send up of Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, I'm sure you do, since you got to spend like probably most of your birthdays at Chuck E. Cheese, you motherfucker. I've never had one birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, and I was forced to watch this to prep for this show, and I was just like, I know where Derek's going with this one. I know exactly where he's going with this one. But okay, you do your thing.
Well, okay, I can't say it was most of my birthdays. There's probably like 2 or 3 birthdays, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was there all the time for birthdays, like not just for myself. My family, my friends, it was a big hot spot for quite a while, when I was growing up. So, yeah, I did spend a lot of time.
2 or
at
3 is
Chuck E.
more than
Cheese.
0.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I have to say that this Wally Weasel segment from The Simpsons, you're severely lacking in your visitation of Chuck E. Cheese. Because you watched this scene, you have visited
like I've gained it a
every
little bit.
birthday party that you've gotten a window into the experience that was a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party in the 90s and in the early 2000s. So you're there, you're living it, Grimby.
I
You've
did feel that way.
experienced it.
I honestly did. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, oh man, they're in like this arcade setting and they're opening gifts at the table here and there's pizza involved and there's animatronics. And I was just like, wow, this is what it feels like.
You've got this whole experience behind you, right down to my favorite part of the whole episode and the whole shtick. I'm convinced that the writers of The Simpsons wrote this whole Wally Weasels bit just to get to the birthday song. So Bart is standing at the animatronic stage when Wally Weasel turns the animatronic and he's like, well, we're going to sing you a special birthday song. And he hands it over to the maestro of the band, Signor Beaverati, which makes me laugh. It's just so funny. If you've never picked up on it, they're making a joke based off of Pavarotti. So there's a little connection there. Pavarotti, yes. And unfortunately, Signor Beaverati's tail falls off and he catches fire. But before that happens, he gets the whole band to sing the birthday song, which is "You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday." Boy or girl. Like every time I visit somebody on their birthday and we have to sing that godforsaken song, that's what goes through my mind every time.
So
it's a
good.
much better birthday song. It really is.
I love all the little animatronics. I don't mean to take away from Wally Weasel for any means, but I love the squid, the green squid that's in the background. He's pretty cool. No idea if he has a name or not, but he's pretty neat. The whole gang up there looks like the Kool-Aid gang.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know that we've ever been given lore to explain away the rest of the band, to give us their backstories or their names. The only one that I know that we've definitely gotten is, like I mentioned, Senor Beaverati, and we've got Wally Weasel himself. But other than that, I think we're nameless, which is really unfortunate. So I beg of current Simpsons writers, the way that you're going to get me back watching this show is, please, give us anything. I don't know. Give us a Five Nights at Freddy's. Actually, this is a great idea. Give us a Five Nights at Freddy's parody in a Treehouse of Horror episode, and just use this gang as your stand-ins for the Five Nights at Freddy's gang. That would be brilliant, actually.
It would be. So I know that this is peering off a little bit, but this is a pizza show, and I just like to compliment the pizza that is involved in this place. I have this strange infatuation with cartoon pizza, and it always looks better than real pizza for some reason, and this is absolutely no different from the rule. I mean, they're all sitting at the table, Bart's opening his gifts, and before that, it kind of does this pan to where it shows all the different characters, and Homer's there and he just takes a bite out of the slice, and that cheese pull just looks so good.
Stretchiest cheese pull I've ever seen in my life. From this episode specifically, it looks incredible. I would love to try a piece of that pizza. And speaking of pizza, getting back to the root of the episode here. So you said you've never been to Chuck E. Cheese. Have you even ever had a chance maybe to try a piece of the pizza at all?
Never. No. I've seen the pizza that comes at Walmart now, but I just feel like that's not the same. Like, I would have to go there and get some pizza from them, even if it was takeout. But no, I've never stepped foot in one. Never had any pizza from them.
I really can't remember. It's been years and years since I've actually tasted it. But all I can think of is my brain makes this connection that I think that they're just serving a big version of Elio's. Like, that's
Okay.
all I can think, is that their pizza probably just has an Elio's quality to it. And you're just paying a super upcharge on an Elio's pizza.
I mean, I've seen plenty of videos of it, and I feel like it looks decent enough. Aside from their thing, people think that's go. I'm not going to get too far into that. That's a whole other book to be opened. But if you know, you know.
That.
Yeah, we don't want to get in trouble.
Here's the thing: it's got to be good enough, because they actually, when the pandemic was in full swing and they were struggling to stay open, at that point, my route to work actually involved me driving through the parking lot of my childhood Chuck E. Cheese. And at that time, to try and stay afloat and make some money, there was a sign out front where you could actually order Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Like, call them up and they would make you a pizza and you could pick it up touchless. They would like put it in your trunk and you could drive away. So there must have been at least some people who were jonesing for that sweet, sweet rat pizza.
Oh my God. I love that.
Yo, Burgundy, chew on this.
You'll never cut the mustard, mean winner!
Food fight!
Your history, Private Pizza. Pow! And your lunch. Combat curtain. Fire!
What's going on?
Joy's playing with this food again, Mom.
Food fighters, figures in combat carton each sold separately. Toys do not walk and talk.
All right, guys, my next slice. Private Pizza from the Food Fighters. You familiar with these guys?
Yeah, so I wasn't familiar with them as a kid or anything. This was actually one that you sort of introduced me to a few years ago. This line of toys from Mattel. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, they're from Mattel. They were released in 1989, and it was a series of anthropomorphic food items. And I believe there's 14 of them out there, and there's a couple of different variations of different characters. Like there's a pancake, and it might have purple or blue syrup on the top. There's little things like that.
Yeah, so I really didn't know much about this line, and you kind of showed me quite a few figures, and I have to say, I love them as an adult, and especially as an adult that is a foodie. These are great. I just love them. They're kind of reminiscent of like Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, they're very in the same vein. Kind of plays on toilet humor, sort of, maybe a little bit. Sort of basing this on an actual food fight, which really helps me a lot because I always loved the idea of a food fight, but could never commit. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could throw food, but to take like a piece of food to the face or something, it's like getting squirted with water.
Gross.
Like, you can squirt people with squirt guns all day, but the moment you get fucked, you're like, no, I'm out. I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
So this works
100%.
for me quite a bit. But yeah, there's 14 of them, and one of them happens to be a slice of pizza named Private Pizza, aka Pizza the Gut.
Pizza the Guts.
Yeah, man.
Just drawing a lot of inspiration from Spaceballs, perhaps? Maybe?
It kind of does seem that way. He's in the same, I mean, obviously they're both pizza slices, I suppose. He's a pizza slice, and Pizza the Hut's more of just a mountain of like cheese and pepperoni, I guess.
That's true. But I mean, listen, anthropomorphic living pizza. This one's called Pizza the Gut, and he's Pizza the Hut. Like, I don't know. It's a bit on the nose. Kind of what came first, the chicken or the egg?
I don't know when the film came out, but like I said, these came out in 1989, so
1987.
87.
Oh, so maybe they're ripping off from Spaceballs.
definitely could be. I never thought of that until now. So yeah, you might be onto something there. So the figures themselves were split into two different categories. You had the Kitchen Commandos and the Refrigerator Rejects. Private Pizza is part of the Kitchen Commandos. These figures, they're really fun. They're very simple, obviously a product of the time. And I know I said anthropomorphic. I feel like when people hear anthropomorphic, they're expecting like a person, you know what I mean? Like, or like a fully human kind of thing. But these are more like just the food item with like legs and arms.
No, you're spot on. It's got a pizza face, arms and legs. It's pizza come to life, like quite literally.
So they all come with a few accessories, mostly a hat and a backpack. I think the Kitchen Commandos, they come with more of the army style hat, and then the Refrigerator Rejects, they come with like this black cap, and they also come with a gun. They're all pretty much the same. I never had these myself as a kid, but I remember seeing neighborhood kids with them. Had I ran into them back in the day in Walmart or in Ames or something, I would have been fine with pretty much any of these. But hard pressed, I'm going to go ahead on the air and say that Private Pizza is definitely my favorite one of the bunch. And there's a lot of really cool ones in here out of the 14. But I can't say no to a piece of pizza with an eye patch.
I love that too. What a great design element. The eye patch is a piece of pepperoni. And he also has pepperoni on him. So it's like, you got to start questioning what is the pepperoni to him and his body, that it also could work as an eye patch. Like, are those moles technically? Like, does he have a bunch of nipples? Did he rip it off of himself to use as an eye patch? Did he rip it off of a fallen comrade and use it as an eye patch? There's a lot of things unanswered here about Pizza the Gut here, or Private Pizza. And I kind of want to know his lore. You know, what's going on with him? What are these body parts? What's he made of? What's he stealing from other people? It's just a lot unanswered and a bit mysterious.
Yeah, how was his day? Like, what's he been up to?
Does he have kids waiting for him at home? Like little garlic knots waiting for daddy to walk through the door? Once he's on leave? He's at war. They don't know if he's ever going to walk back through that front door again. Is his wife shacking up with the mailman breadstick? Out of loneliness. These are all things that I want to know and I want to see in a dramatic film.
So, real quick before we end this, I just wanted to mention, I know I said that these are a product of their time, but that's sort of not true. We've seen like the Grocery Gang, which is a very similar kind of style figure. We've obviously seen McDonald's that did the Food Fundamentals, and not to mention all the McNugget buddies. So there's one in particular I'd like to shout out really quick that I came across while venturing on the Instagrams recently, and that is this line that this guy Brandon has been producing the last couple of years, and that is the 9 to 5 Warriors. It's very much in the same style. He just announced a Kickstarter for Wave 2 on September 25th. These things look incredible. If you're interested in anything that's sort of in the same vein as Food Fighters, definitely check him out ASAP, because these figures, man, they are really, really cool. They're more in the whole vibe is kind of like an office type setting, but there is like little food pieces involved. There's like a donut, and I think there's cookies too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but definitely check that out because they are really, really cool.
You have to go 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes, or your ass is fired. Go!
All right, Grimy, I think you and I can both agree that the most pizza place of all time is here on the East Coast, and it is what? None other than New York City. Am I correct in that assumption and in that statement?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
And I think there's a few things that we start associating with New York City and pizza. If I'm to give you those two parameters, and then let's just delve deep into our brains and what we really start thinking of when we think of the city and pizza. I know that you're going to think of the TMNT.
Of course.
I mean, that's a given. But what I'm going to jump into is maybe something that people don't immediately think of. But, hey, this is my slice, and I'm going to bring them up. I'm talking about Spider-Man, the one and only Peter Parker. specifically from the now 20-year-old, if you can believe that, Spider-Man 2 film directed by Sam Raimi. Can we take a moment and just process that? It's been 20 years since the second Spider-Man movie.
That is kind of insane. I don't want to believe it, but here we are. And I will just back up really quick and say I always imagined that Michelangelo was sharing slices with Peter Parker. So, like, it fits, man.
It makes a lot of sense. You got a turtle in the sewers, you got a spider in the streets. Together, they make a good team. And they're not going to judge each other. They're
Absolutely
both
not.
freaks in their own way. So, yeah, I'd like to think that they're buddies. And they've got the same personality, sort of, to really mesh together and be BFFs.
Totally.
So, Spider-Man 2, while it's not my favorite of that trilogy, I still really do like the first movie the best. Spider-Man 2 is what a lot of people tend to call a perfect movie, or a perfect sequel, or a perfect movie and perfect sequel. And I can't really fault them for thinking that. It is an incredible movie through and through. But I really have to say, Doc Ock aside, great villain. My favorite part of this movie is when Peter is working as a delivery boy for Joe's Pizza.
Seeing Spidey delivering pizzas that's all you really need. I mean, they could have just given us an entire movie with just that, and it would have been fine.
It would have been, actually. Yeah, I mean, just the high-stakes world of pizza delivery as a superhero who's also trying to save the city and its citizens, but has a 29-minute or its free guarantee window to work within, while still not losing his job so he can support himself and his girlfriend and his now widowed aunt / mother figure. That could be a really interesting, like, A24 take on the Spider-Man lore. Like, I could see a very artsy, upbeat, yet stressful and anxiety-ridden movie in that alone, you know?
Oh, yeah. Man, I kind of forgot about the 30 minutes or less deal. I guess I'm not surprised that that's not still a thing. I'd imagine they probably ran into a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, so I was just really thinking about that. And specifically, Grimy, you got to watch it, because here at Joe's Pizza, it's not 30 minutes
28.
or it's free. It's 29 minutes.
Oh, 29 minutes. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
One less
So
minute.
they're beating every other pizza joint in the city by 1 minute. That seems to be their gimmick, is that they are 1 minute faster than everybody else in the city. And hey, in a place that's so fast paced and with so many pizza options, you have to stand out in some way, shape, or form.
That's true.
I really didn't grow up in the era of a delivery window or its free gimmick. And it's so hard for me to wrap my brain around the fact that that could have and probably was a real gimmick that a lot of pizza joints fell into back in the day. Like, what an insane pressure to put on your workers just to chance losing money on an order. Like, that seems like a really dumb promotion.
I remember Domino's partaking in this, and I had to do a little bit of digging, but it turns out that they ended that in like the early 1990s. I think it was like 1993, and it was because of all the number of lawsuits that were arising from accidents caused from people trying to deliver pizzas quickly. Yeah, so there's some truth to that.
Okay, well, and that, I didn't even think about that point. I just thought about, man, your workers must be so pissed
Like,
that they have to
really,
make
yeah,
these
that I could see that
crazy deadlines.
Mhm.
I didn't even think about the fact that they were driving so crazy that they were probably getting into accidents a lot too.
Well, I figured it was either those two things or the possibility that, like, well, we're losing so much money because nobody's delivering these fucking pizzas on time.
Exactly. And hey, to swing it back into the Spider-Man 2 territory, that's exactly what's happening here. So, first off, Joe's Pizza is not owned by a Joe. That's the first big gag. It's owned by a guy named Aziz. So I love that. That's fantastic. But at the beginning of this scene, Aziz is very quick and very stern in telling Peter, this is it. This is his last delivery. He's always late. He's always missing deadlines, and he's always giving up free pizza because he can't keep his head in the game and get these pizzas delivered on time. So this scene is his last chance to prove himself, to get those pizzas oh God, a ridiculous amount of blocks. Something like 40 blocks from Joe's Pizza to the delivery. And so Peter, with his job on the line, takes that in stride and says, I can do it. This is going to happen. And then he jumps on his fucking moped, of all things. Like
29 minutes, buddy.
Really? No wonder he's not making these deliveries on time. He's delivering on a moped? There's no way that he's doing it. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, I know the assumption is that he should just start swinging from webs and, getting it there. But what shape is that pizza going to really be in by the time he delivers it?
Well, that's true. But hey, we actually do get to see what happens if he starts swinging his pizza to his customers, because that's exactly how it goes down. He's not going to make it in time, so he ducks into an alley, he changes into his Spider-Man suit, and off he goes. And I think he only ends up, surprise, missing the window by a minute or two. So he does have to give up those pizzas. But they seem like they showed up in okay enough shape for having been like thousands of feet in the air for extended periods of time. Yeah, I don't know. Just a fun scene overall. It's one of those things that sort of sets Spider-Man apart, is that it reminds you he is just a kid who fell into this. So he's doing normal kid things like working a pizza delivery job, going to school, being invested in photography and being interested in girls and being a nerd. Like, so this scene really kind of fits with the character, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's a great scene, even if you just watch it by itself. As well as I, as well as anybody, that one of the big reasons Spider-Man 2 got as popular as it was not only because of the movie, but because of the video game tie-in, and it being up to that point regarded as basically the best Spider-Man game, and well after, basically ever created. And so I just wanted to bring this up because two things. First off, there is a pizza delivery section in the game, and it plays incredible music. Like the funniest pizza delivery song, Italian bastardization music I've ever heard in my life. Every time I hear it, it cracks me up. So that's number one. But number two, the game recreates the whole pizza delivery bit as side missions. So you can actually go do that in the game. The funniest part is that they do keep Mr. Aziz in the game, but they changed the name of the pizza restaurant from Joe's to Hans. And now, despite having the name of Mr. Aziz, instead of being, Pakistani or Indian or whatever nationality he was in the movie, now he's speaking with a terrible Italian accent that almost sounds like a Russian accent in the game. So that's just fun. Just a fun tidbit. Spider-Man and pizza. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
There's an odd, unexplainable phenomenon haunting Pizza Hut. Is it another worldly spirit compelling these people to eat their pizza the wrong way? No, it's new stuffed crust pizza with a ring of cheese baked in the edge of a totally new, thinner crust.
Incoming!
And with a large just $9.99, every living person will be eating it the wrong way, crust first.
Hey, look! I'm eating like a fleshy too!
And even some not so living.
You love the stuff we made of Pizza Hut.
All right, my next slice, we're going back to Pizza Hut promotional items, and that is the Casper Pizza Hut promo from 1995. Casper, he has this big heyday. The movie just hits. He's pretty much everywhere. He's on Pepsi bottles and cans, and he made his way into Pizza Hut. So this is a nationwide thing. He's possessing customers to eat Pizza Hut a brand new way, starting from the crust side first. And why is that?
Because it's stuffed, Grimy.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to believe that. I know you're not a fan of Pizza Hut, but Pizza Hut has been in my family like my whole entire life. Seriously, it is really. It's my aunt worked at Pizza Hut for the longest time, And like we would go there, we would see my aunt, and like
Okay.
it feels like home. You know how some people say that
All
Olive
right.
Garden feels like home? Pizza Hut feels like home to me.
Okay, that's fair. Well, the I'm laughing because you kind of started that sentence off like Pizza Hut was an heirloom, but then it got much more sincere and genuine. So I'll give it to you.
No.
I won't razz you there.
It's an heirloom. You're right.
Yeah. In a sense, I suppose it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's very, very hard for me to believe that stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut only started existing in 1995. And what other perfect way to do it than to put Casper in there? Would you ever be interested in eating your pizza backwards? I have to ask right off the top here.
No, fuck that.
Yeah,
No,
see?
there's no amount of money in the world that could convince me to eat my pizza the wrong way. It's sacrilegious.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I remember seeing these commercials and thinking, well, what the fuck are these people doing? It just wasn't enough to influence me to actually do it. Like this just doesn't feel right. This feels complete. No, we're not doing this. I remember one time where I decided that I would take like the smallest nibble out of like the corner of the back, and I was just like, no, this ain't it. It always felt better to savor that stuffed crust towards the end. Like that feels like the big payoff. It doesn't feel like you should have it first.
Exactly. It's the bonus treat at the end of an already delicious slice of pizza. It's like you're telling me I get a cheese stuffed breadstick at the end of my
Exactly.
slice of pizza baked in. What a win that is. I don't have to eat plain crust. I get cheesy crust. I love that.
Yeah, all I want to say is anybody that's eating their pizza backwards, y'all are suckers. I don't care what you say. But anyways, I was a huge fan for Casper. I'm still a very huge fan of Casper, specifically the 1995 film. And this promo is like the thing that a lot of people gravitate towards immediately when they hear Casper, I feel like. And for good reason. You know, Pizza Hut was doing their typical shtick back in the 90s. They had the 4 glow-in-the-dark hand puppets. I guess we can call them puppets. They don't really look like they're actual puppets, but you can, I guess, fit a very small child hand up inside of these ghosts and pretend they're puppets.
Well, I mean, you could also, if you save your crust, you can stuff a whole bunch of stuffed crust inside of those hand puppets and act like it's your little pizza save. So, yeah.
Little pizza piggy bank.
Yeah. Multiple uses there, you know.
I'm seeing it.
Piggy bank, man. That's a big money idea. We need to act on that quick.
I'm the pizza delivery dude, the dude with the food. Check it out. Perfect angle, 45 degrees. 90 degrees, 45 degrees. I got more degrees than a thermometer. 10 degrees, more degrees than a professor. I'm a Mongo-footed Professor Narnar. 5 degrees and touchdown. And under control.
Pepper, he's hot.
That's me.
All right, so for my last pick, I was talking about Spider-Man 2 and how the video game has like the funniest song of all time when it comes to pizza. I was wrong, Grimy. I was wrong. Because my next pick is me talking about the video game Lego Island. And I stand corrected because I forgot about the funniest pizza song from any piece of media that's ever existed. And it's from this slightly obscure PC game based off of the Lego series. And if I'm remembering correctly, I believe this is the very first ever Lego video game ever created.
It is. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. I actually had this one. I got this one for Christmas back in the day, and I had to leave it at my grandma's because she was the only one that had a computer. So, like, when I would go there, I would hang out in her computer room, and I would play fucking Lego Island. I'll just say, this isn't the game I wanted. I wanted Lego Builder, which looked like it was a lot more into the building aspect. And if you've played this game, you'll notice that it's not as much as building as you'd think it might be.
This is a weird one. This is a weird game. And I just want to say I'm so glad to know that you had your caveat about being able to play it, where you couldn't play it in your house. You had to play it at your grandma's house. I had it at my house, and the best part is I could barely play it at my house.
Oh man, it is a very hard game to play. I mean, even in, the 90s standards, like it's just a very difficult game to like get the hang of. It's kind of set up, dare I say, like Grand Theft Auto.
Well, I appreciate your comments. You have misunderstood me fundamentally in what I mean. I'm sure it might have been a little tricky control-wise. My computer at my house at the time, I did not realize being a kid was not powerful enough to run this game. So I would spend hours, Grimy, playing this game, and I assumed that it ran, and this is my first ever experience with a low frame rate game. Kids nowadays complain that 30 frames a second hurts their eyes. If I am thinking back correctly, I don't think my computer was pushing more than like 5 frames a second. Like, literally was going step by step by step. So you're walking around in a 3D environment and trying to like go forward. It was like you would see it chop forward. Just chop, chop, chop. So I bring that up. Even though I had a horrible, horrible playing experience, I still played a lot of this game. So I just like that you and I both sort of had weird barriers around this game where like you couldn't play it at your house and I could play it at my house, but I was having the worst video game experience and still finding joy and fun in it. It's just so funny.
I mean, honestly, it is a really fun game. If you can't experience the gameplay, at least you get these nice little videos in between. They're all pretty awesome. It was fun seeing Lego characters come to life because before that, you really didn't see a lot of that at this time period. Like this was really kind of the first leap into it. But now we get into games like the PS1 gets a couple of Lego games, PS2 gets a couple of Lego games, and now there is Lego movies. So
movies and like every game that you could ever imagine, from like Star Wars to Batman to even like the Jurassic series got Lego video games. So yeah, it's a far cry from where we're at now and the things that they're making Lego now. At the time, the best that they could do was making a whole game about there was you're a pizza boy delivering pizzas on Lego Island, and you are the coolest pizza delivery dude of all time, Grimy. Yes, you're the classic yellow Lego brick character minifigure, and he does all of his deliveries on skateboard. And honestly, this guy is so cool and people trust him so much that he doesn't even put the pizzas in a box. He just clips a little plastic pizza into his little claw and skates on down the road to make his deliveries. And what's his name? The most pizza-appropriate name I've ever heard. His first name is Pepper. Last name, Roni.
Oh, yeah,
Pepper Roni. They didn't really try there, did they?
Not really, no. I always remember this guy kind of reminding me of my next door neighbor. Not that any of you guys will know him, but he sounds exactly like him. You'll just have to take my word for it.
Guy sounds sick as hell, honestly. You should try to reconnect and ask him if he ever delivered pizzas on a skateboard.
I'm actually not going to do that. That kid wasn't cool as hell, unfortunately. Unlike the character. No, this kid, though, he's really cool. He's, like you said, he's skateboarding. I love that he kind of describes what he's doing as he's doing it. So, like, when he's up in the air doing these little twists and movements, he's like, 180 degrees, 360 degrees. I don't know. You want to be this cool little skater kid serving up pies. It's fucking awesome.
It's a learning experience. He's teaching you about degrees. He's teaching you about following directions, and he's also even teaching you about monopolies and monopolistic pizza place owners, specifically Mama and Papa Briccolini. the characters running the Italian restaurant providing you with pizzas that you are delivering throughout the island. Are you confused by me saying that they're running a monopoly on Lego Island?
Not at all.
Oh, you're not confused. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, so for those of you maybe in the dark, this game has a dark secret, and that's it seems to me that Mama and Papa Briccolini are well aware of their monopoly and that they intend to uphold their monopoly by banning other food places from opening. Like, it almost seems like they're breaking the little Lego knees of anybody else who tries to open a restaurant here on Lego Island that's not a pizza restaurant.
Oh yeah, they're total gatekeepers.
Maybe even mafioso. I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't doubt it. So I mentioned it's like a really, really funny pizza song. Can I just read you a couple of the lyrics and read the audience a couple of the lyrics to prove our point here?
Oh yeah, read away.
These are bad people. Here we go. There's nothing wrong with enchiladas. Some people like pickles and hot dogs, but you never get to try them when you live on Lego Island.
He said while holding a bat in his right hand, ready to strike.
Yeah, and maybe before this second chorus, you know, they're singing it with a lead pipe in their hand, tapping it on their open palm. Some people like lox and bagels. Others want chow mein on the table, but you never get to try them when you live on Lego Island. Yeah, sounds very ominous to me. They're just running a racket in this town, and poor Pepperoni is caught in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's absurd, man. I mean, it's not a very big island either, so like they're very, very limited to just pizza.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, there's even a scenario where a criminal breaks out of the prison, and he gets involved in all of the pizzaopoly racketeering. So yeah, I don't know, some funky things go down on Lego Island. What I will say is supposedly there were a group of volunteers on the internet trying to make a remaster of Lego Island. I don't know if anything's really happened there, if it's progressed much at all, but I would love to see maybe a slightly updated version of this re-released by Lego proper, you know, put it out on Steam.
That would be really cool. I would be into that.
I don't know, put it out on the Switch or PlayStation or whatever. I would love to try and re-experience this without having to like break out a Windows 95 machine and get that all jerry-rigged up. So
yeah.
If anybody out there's listening, I want this pizza game in my life again, and maybe just have it run a little bit better than like 5 frames a second. That's all. Like even 15 frames I could live with, okay?
Cause I keep reading up on my engine man of full. So the next time you get hungry for a pizza, you know.
Don't forget to eat your favorite pizza, man.
All right, Derek, my last slice of the night comes from a little movie called House 4. So if you haven't watched any of the House franchise, let me just say that they kind of get worse as they go, and this is the last one. So buckle up, bitches.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little scene that involves some pizza. The two characters, there's a mom and daughter, Kelly and Laurel. They're being terrorized by these spirits. They want the girls out of the house. So the girls, there's a portion in this movie where they're ordering pizza, and this pizza guy is singing his fucking guts out. He's got this like barber shop kind of vibe to him, and he starts singing this jingle when he answers the door. They bring this pizza into the kitchen, and Kelly's kind of singing it, and there's this like muffled kind of noise coming from this pizza box. Laurel opens the pizza box, and it's a pizza. but there's like a face in there. You just watched this, so like, did this face happen to look familiar at all?
No. I'm sure you know, and you can imagine that the face is covered in sauce and cheese. So any resemblance I might have noticed to any real living human was just completely lost upon me. Listening to him sing about how he's the pizza man.
Yeah, and so much that even I, someone who's watched this movie quite a few times, I had no idea who it was. It turns out that our pizza is played by Kane Hodder.
Wow.
Yeah, Jason Voorhees.
Huh. Okay. Yep. Totally didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. You never would, but
I don't know. Now I got to go back and see. Like maybe I can make out his beautiful jawline, underneath all of that molten cheese and disgusting
oh my God.
sauce. Do you think that it was like I mean, it couldn't have been like real sauce and cheese, right? I mean, I don't know. It looks pretty convincing.
It is pretty convincing. And I'm going to go back to Pizza the Hut really quick here with this one, because in that, it looks pretty convincing as well. So they used pancake batter and real pepperoni. So I don't feel like it's off the table that they used an actual pizza and like sauce and cheese and all that good stuff here. Maybe.
If that were the case, that would be the most interesting thing on Kane Hodder's resume. And I mean, he's already got a very incredibly interesting resume, but it's like, so I see here from 1989 to 1989, you were covered in meat and cheese as you performed performed on screen. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's such a bizarre scene, but it's not anything that we really haven't seen before. As you could tell, if you're a fan of the Elm Street franchise, back in 1989 with Elm Street 5, they actually did a similar scene. So this came out in 1992, so I have to believe that they drew some inspiration from it. But anyways, this pizza with a face is singing the song, and he's cackling. He's just having the time of his life, and the box is closed. Kelly can't see the spirits that are trying to get them out of the house, so she shows her the box and the pizza inside. She's like, ew, there's anchovies on it, and disappears. And as she goes out, the pizza comes back to life, and it spits this stream of tomato juice out at Laurel's face, to which she starts stabbing the fuck out of this box.
Yeah, I mean, it's a projectile vomit straight out of The Exorcist. It's just very unnatural, just clearly a stream from a very tiny tube instead of like a spray like you'd expect from a projectile vomit, which makes me love it even more. It's like they didn't try to go for the realism. They're like, listen, it's a man's face in a pizza. We spent all of the special effects budget making it look like a man is living in this pizza. You'll get the vibe, you'll get the gist when he's throwing up marinara sauce, okay?
Oh yeah, they had to spend quite a bit on this, because afterwards they pushed this pizza into the garbage disposal, to which a string cheese arm comes out and grabs Laurel by her like clothing or whatever, tries to pull her in. Just an awesome scene in general, really fun. You could tell these people are having a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I have dreams like that like once a week, if I'm being honest.
Really? Pizza's just trying to kill you?
Refuse to have a garbage disposal in the house, Can't trust them. Don't know what's living down there.
It's just pizza men singing, yeah. I'm your pizza man, I'm your pizza man.
Who is it?
It's Little Nero, sir. I have your pizza.
Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here.
Okay. Well, what about the money?
What money?
Well, you have to pay for your pizza, sir.
Is that a fact? How much do I owe you?
That'll be $11.80, sir.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
All right, Grammy, we're down to the last slice in this box here. And as usual, the last slice is the best slice. Well, I don't really know if that's true. Usually it's like the worst slice. It's kind of cooled down, it's congealed, like all the fat's kind of turned into a solid puddle. It's kind of gross, but
sounds good to me.
It's still delicious. It's still pizza.
Yeah.
And of course, if we're talking the best slice, I'm ending on something that you and I are both equally passionate about. How can we get through a whole pizza show and not mention Little Nero's?
Oh, are you going with the plain cheese for this one?
All for not myself, I guess. All for ourselves, you and I.
Very nice.
I mean, man, if you're listening and you've made it this far in the episode, not only are you a fan of us, Leftover Pizza, but I can guarantee you're a big Home Alone fan. I mean, if you're into this show, if you're like us in any way, of course you love Home Alone. It's a seminal part of your adult life. It was a huge part of your childhood. It's like our quintessential movie. And I know we started this off with the Halloween tie. And listen, I'm giving Grimy a gift early because we're going to focus a little bit on Christmas for the end here. And I know he's just jumping up and down in his seat to have this opportunity right now.
Hey, I'm just happy that you're the one mentioning it, not me, because I know I would have never heard the end of it.
No. I can make a concession. And when it comes to Little Nero's and the greatness that is Home Alone, it has to have a spot at our pizza table for our pizza show, for our 50th episode.
Little Nero's the line in the sand, huh?
That's the one. Yeah, this is the one that I will bend over backwards for. 100%. Yeah.
Perfect.
Home Alone is that line for me. So we were talking earlier, specifically on the Spider-Man 2 pick, how we thought it was unreasonable that, there was the 29-minute or it's free delivery guarantee. I was trying to learn a little bit about Little Nero's for this episode to see if there were things that I hadn't thought of or could learn. And here's something that I found very interesting. There's a whole bunch of people online who seemingly have figured out why the delivery driver is such a bad driver. You want to take a stab at this, or you want me to just tell you why he might be such a bad driver?
Is he a bad driver? I'm trying to remember exactly. Does it really show him driving that much? I mean, I know that he runs into whatever the hell that is, a little statue in the front. Is there more?
I mean, he does that multiple times. So he crashes and vandalizes their personal property, their private property, multiple occasions. Basically every pizza delivery that he shows up to the house.
Sure, but weren't there others? Well, didn't the people that picked him up for their flight run into it as well?
Yeah, okay, maybe. And this is why you can't listen to what the internet has to say, because I forgot about that. They were trying to make a case for the fact that he's a bad driver because he's under such immense pressure to get these pizzas delivered or they're free, that he's consistently speeding or failing to stop at an appropriate time, at an appropriate distance. So that's probably why he's always crashing into their little their statue out front. But
well, that kind of checks out. Aren't these people that are picking them up trying to kind of, they're speeding their way there. They have deadlines to meet too. So I feel like that still checks out.
That is true.
Yeah.
Everybody who's crashing into that little statue out front, they are on deadlines. So, okay. Yeah. Maybe this is back in play then.
Turned it right back around. See, I helped you out here.
Yeah, you thought you had me, and then you did have me, and then you backed me out of the corner. That's what friendship's all about.
That's right, man.
Keeping me on edge, keeping me on my toes. So you want to talk about pizza prices in 1993?
Let's get economical, man.
This is fascinating to me, okay? So somebody did the research online that the Little Nero's pies in this movie cost $11.80 a piece back in 1993. If we take inflation into consideration, that would be, in 2024, a very expensive pizza by today's standards. They would be $28.42 per pizza.
Oh my God.
Per pizza. And this wasn't any gourmet pizza, as you know. These are standard run-of-the-mill pizza pies.
And I have to assume that the McAllisters, I mean, they bought like 20 pizzas right the first scene there. Uh-huh. So they're still probably doing this. Imagine the money that they're just throwing at these pizzas.
I know. So, no wonder that they live in the big, beautiful mansion that they do, because they can afford to buy multiple $30 pizzas at a whack, plus tip. I would just like to compare that to the current, what I am calling king of economical pizza pies, which in my opinion is still and always will be the reigning champ of Little Caesars, which right now a standard either pizza or cheese pie is in today's dollars $8.49 on average. So you compare that to the McAllister's $28.42, that's almost $20 more expensive per pie. And if you want to hear me bitch a little bit, I will say that I still think that Little Caesars is kind of expensive compared to what I'm used to their pies costing, which is about $5 a piece when I was in high school. It was nothing to walk down to the Little Caesars with me and my friends with a $5 bill and buy a hot and ready pizza, which, you know, you can't even do that anymore. Now it's almost double.
Doubled. Oh my God.
Almost double. We're close.
You know, I still never tried one of these yet, and I hate myself for it. I pass one every time I go out to like Erie area, and I'm never allowed to stop for some reason.
You're going to stop. I am going to hypnotize you that you will have to pull the car over the next time you see my little pizza man. You got to try it at least once. I think it's the king of cheap big chain pizza, but what do I know? I have no taste.
No taste.
10.
Well, this was a lot of fun for our 50th anniversary episode.
Yes. Yeah, we've been alive for 50 years.
Happy
Grimy
birthday.
and I. And what is it for 50th anniversary? I know some of them are like silver, some of them are gold. 50th pizza anniversary, what's that? Like cardboard, I feel like
greasy
soaked cardboard.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah. That makes a lot
fitting.
of sense, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, whether you're enjoying pizza at home or you're just a steady listener of the Leftover Pizza podcast, that is all the time we have for this episode. As always, we'd like to thank you for tuning in and listening.
And while this 50th episode may be over, the fun is just beginning. And my God, do I really mean it? We've got so many more episodes planned, so many more fun activities, and hopefully more of this for years to come. But all of that aside, you'll want to head over to our Facebook group, the Leftover Pizza Club, and you can join in on this discussion all about tonight's episode and God damn so much.
That's right. We post a discussion thread for each new episode, so you can chime in with other listeners and talk about your favorite episodes, bits, and picks.
Or congratulate us on 50 episodes. Or even tear us a new one, I suppose, if you don't like us.
Yeah, as long as it's constructive and civil, as they say, it's fair game.
And if you just can't get enough of us after 3 years and 50 episodes, I'm going to keep saying that, Grimy. You can always check us out on Instagram and Threads at Leftover Pizza Podcast. And you can find us on Twitter or X at Leftover Pizza Club. That's LFTOVR Pizza Club.
Absolutely. And if you feel like reading stuff after listening to this 50th episode, you could go read some stuff over at leftoverpizzaclub.com. There's a few things up there right now, like the Halloween celebration. I think you'll really, really enjoy.
Absolutely. And lastly, wherever you've been listening to us for 50 episodes, be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review congratulating us on making it to 50 episodes. All that stuff helps us a great deal, and we appreciate it very much that you've stuck around for 50 episodes. See, I told you I could work it into every sentence at the end of this show.
Absolutely. And I'd just like to say 50 episodes?
50 episodes.
We're here. 50 of them.
We really are. We did it. I can't believe it. Here's to 50 more. We'll catch you at 100, and maybe we'll talk about more pizza things at 100. But not another mention of pizza until that time. I am pizzaed out, Grimy. I never thought I'd be able to say it, but no more pie.
Absolutely. So next episode, we'll be right back on our Friday Night Frights bullshit. Until then, stay pizza-fied, stay spooky, and we'll catch you later.
50
episodes.